Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Richie Torres, a member of the Financial Services Committee. Congressman, it's always so good to have you on the show. Straight out of the gate, do you agree that Representative Matt Gaetz is a charlatan, those words not mine, leading all of this chaos that we're seeing right now?
Well, House Republicans have been captured by charlatans, by arsonists who are intent on burning down the leadership of their own party, burning down the full faith and credit of the United States, burning down the federal government. I mean, these people have no interest in governing. Their only objective is pure dysfunction, pure chaos. But again, the problem is the whole Republican Party. There are two types of Republicans in the House. There are the extremists, and then there are those who enable the extremist. You know, so-called moderate republicanism is not even an endangered species. It's extinct. And it only takes one member to file a motion to vacate, to remove the speaker, and Kevin McCarthy lives in fear of his own removal. And there's been nothing but chaos. House Republicans have revealed themselves to be every bit as chaotic and erratic and lunatic as their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump.
So how are you working with your Republican colleagues to come to an agreement and to keep the focus on the bigger picture, the people that are directly impacted by the Republicans holding their paychecks hostage?
Well, there's a bipartisan compromise on the table. It has the support of the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer. It has the support of the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell. It has the support of the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries. The only holdout is Speaker McCarthy. The House Republicans are the obstacle to preventing a government shutdown. And a House Republican shutdown would bring senseless suffering to the American people. It would affect 7 million women, children, and infants who will lose access to food from the WIC program. It will affect 5 million troops and federal employees who will be forced to go without pay. It will affect 1.63 million Americans flying through airports every single day. It would just bring senseless suffering to the American people. And people should keep in mind that the federal government represents 25% of the American economy. You know, House Republicans cannot shut down up to 1/4 of the American economy without causing extraordinary damage to households and businesses across the country.
You know, it's Groundhog Day because just last year we had the same issue, right? We were just inching our way, but perilously, towards a government shutdown. It took President Biden to step in to be able to get something across the finish line. Clearly, McCarthy is reneging on any deals that were made back then. He's not going to honor anything that he should have, and he did agree to back then. Do you think it's going to take President Biden's hand in this to be able to get involved, to be able to get and to avoid, to get a resolution and to avoid a shutdown?
You know, we have a bipartisan support. We have a bipartisan deal that has the support of President Biden. The burden falls on Speaker McCarthy to assert leadership and support the bipartisan compromise on the table. But the reality is that there is a civil war unfolding within the Republican Party. The Republicans are fighting among themselves and are rotting from within. And the victims here are the American people. The American people are paying a heavy price for the incompetence and the dysfunction and the extremism of House Republicans.
So, Congressman, there are a number of people that are directly impacted. You went through the numbers. They're startling. But it's not just the government employees, some of whom are going to have to work without a paycheck. It's going to be the trickle-down effect that's going to affect your constituents, us, and the other people that are in America. What is your message, if you could send one right now, to Speaker McCarthy to let him know that he's the one who's holding all of America hostage if this government shutdown happens?
Call upon my Republican colleagues to do what's best for the country. You know, a government shutdown is not an abstraction. It will do an enormous amount of harm to an enormous number of people. You know, and I'll give you a concrete example. One of the greatest challenges facing our country is the severe shortage of air traffic controllers. A House Republican shutdown would exacerbate the shortage of air traffic controllers and endanger the safety of air travel in the United States. Why on earth are House Republicans playing Russian roulette with the safety of air travel? And so this is not a game, and we need to do what's right for the American people.
I can answer that question. It's because the Republicans pick politics over people. Congressman Richie Torres, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us this morning. And
Absolutely.
tributes from around the world are pouring in for the longest-serving female senator in U.S. history. Democratic